the International Conference on Agriculture and Forestry.
The place where we work is All India Network Project on Pesticide Residues. This is actually funded by Indian Council for Agriculture Research. And there we do a lot of things as far as the pesticide residues are concerned. But after the formation of WTO, being a member of WTO, we need to follow the SPS issues, you are all aware. And in fact, from 1995 onwards, India faced serious problems as far as the export rejections are concerned. Two most important commodities where we face the problems is chili powder and the grapes, especially from our state where we live. And we try to evaluate what are all the reasons. At the end of the day, we found that the basic issue is a lot of agriculture universities recommends the pesticides, but they are not under the legal entity. In fact, the pesticide recommendations comes as far as the Insecticide Act. So in India, Insecticide Act is the organization which actually regulates the pesticide use. But as a matter of fact, at the field level, people are not following the good agricultural practices. That is the reason where we find pesticide residues in chili and also grapes. And for most of the pesticides, we don't have MRL values at that point of time. And with these two reasons, the moment we send any export to any country, naturally they will look for the food contamination, especially the pesticide residues. The moment they see any residue found, they will be referring to the Insecticide Act, whether that particular pesticide is recommended for use on that crop or not. The moment they see that this pesticide is not recommended for use on that particular crop, they are going to reject the consignment because simply the farmers are not following the good agricultural practices. And the next step, they will go further looking at the MRL values, maximum residue limits. And in fact, we have a number of rules and regulations, acts in India, which regulates the food. Like there are many number, and each act is totally different, looking after various aspects of the food. Like some looks after the physical parameters, some looks after the microbial contaminants, some looks after the chemical contaminants. That's how it goes. So as far as the PFA is concerned, that's what we call as the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. For most of the pesticides which are being recommended for use, we don't have MRLs. So there are two issues. The first issue is once you find pesticide residues and the recommendation is not there and the importer is going to reject. And the second issue is they will refer to the MRL, whether the consignment is contaminated with pesticide residue above MRL or not. The moment they say that there is no MRL as per the PFA Act of India, they are going to reject it. That's how it happened for a long time. And of course, we have almost crossed the barrier, and we are going to have a lot of MRLs based on our research findings and research work. And again, there is another issue, and we had a lot of serious problems mostly on spices, as far as because India is the major exporter as far as the spices are concerned. We get a lot of foreign exchange through spice export, and we had a serious problem as far as the spices contamination is concerned. It doesn't mean that the Indian products are really contaminated. There are some logical and legal issues and also some political issues. A few number of pesticide residues in vegetables. We found acephate, lambda-cyhalothrin. These are the commonly found pesticides in various vegetables. And as a matter of fact, we don't have MRLs for most of these pesticides in vegetables also. In that circumstances, to keeping in mind the food safety issues and consumer awareness, we want to provide a very simple technology to the consumers for the removal of pesticide residues from fruits and vegetables at the household level. So with that intention, so we have taken these 7 pesticides, because the basis I told you that these are the 7 pesticides which are commonly found in various vegetables, especially in the brinjal. So these are the 7 pesticides which are routinely found, commonly found, and for most of these pesticides, unfortunately, we don't have MRLs, even in the Codex Alimentarius Commission. So these are the generally recommended doses like 2 ml per liter and the gram active ingredient per hectare. You can see the table. And these are the treatment we have used. In fact, what we have done is, so after selecting these pesticides, we have sprayed these pesticides at the fruit initiation stage. That is the stage where actually pesticide residue issue comes. So we have gone for 2 sprays of these pesticides at 10 days interval. Immediately after spray of the second spray, we have collected the samples after 2 hours so as to know the deposit of this particular pesticide. And we have taken all these samples from different plots and segregated, and finally we want to see how much of these pesticide deposits have been removed because of these treatments. And again you can see the second table wherein we have selected almost like 8 treatments like commonly used, and you can see the Google search. People will recommend treatment with sodium bicarbonate, acetic acid, whatnot. You will see a lot of public opinion that you treat your fruit and vegetables with vinegar, something like that. So we just want to evaluate the scientifically whether these treatments can really able to remove these pesticide residues from vegetables, especially in case of brinjal. Then after collection of these vegetables, I told you then 2 hours after the second spray, we try to check the deposit value, how much is present in the vegetable. Then immediately we will take all the vegetable samples and subject to these 8 treatment, RM1 to RM8. Then each sample is actually extracted and cleaned up as per the validated method, and this is the method what we use to quantify and quantitative and qualitative analysis of these pesticides. And this is a simple method. Actually this is one of the best methods, and with this method you can see these are the parameters we have used for the quantitative analysis and also qualitative analysis using Shimadzu. In fact, this is a basic test we have done, and later we also subjected these samples to GCMSMS and LCMSMS for the confirmatory analysis. And the method really works good. You can ask me a question that why did you test at 0.5 ppm? In fact, 0.5 ppm has no value as far as the residue analysis is concerned. And here the issue is for MRL values are almost more than 1 ppm or 2 ppm in most of the cases. So that's the reason we want to see whether at least 10 times below the MRL, whether the pesticides can be removed. That's our LOQ limit of quantitation. And the recovery is very good, and the method works excellent. Of course, even this method works even at 10 ppb level. There is no issue at all. And now you can see the deposit values here, like dimethiate is something like 1.34 ppm dimethiate is found after 2 hours of the second spray. Then chlorpyrifos is 0.88 and quinalphos is 1.23, and almost all are less than 2 except malathion, wherein we found 4 ppm initial deposits. And you can see in the last column. So as far as the FSSAI is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. This is the organization which actually sets the standards for all sorts of food. You can see for only 4 pesticides we have MRLs, whereas in case of Codex, except for lambda-cyhalothrin, there is no maximum residual limit set for all these pesticides on brinjal. So this is the issue. So when there is no MRL, and even in case of Indian standards, so naturally we need to develop some kind of very simple technologies to remove these pesticides from the market, purchased from the vegetables purchased from the market, so that customers feel very happy and feel satisfied, and they feel that the safe food is purchased from the market and eaten. And this is actually the effect of these treatments. So tap water, of course, we all recommend the moment you buy any fruits and vegetables, you just wash your fruits and vegetables with the normal tap water. That's a regular practice. We just want to check whether how much percentage of pesticide is removed. And the second is lemon water. Some people also treating like 1 lemon in almost like half liter of 1 full lemon juice, then in half liter of water. Then 2% salt solution of tamarind solution is also a world practice, and 2% salt solution is a very known fact, and in fact that recommendation came from our lab only, and which is very popular in India. And even we have seen a lot of literature, and actually there are no scientific studies, but people feel that if you wash all these fruits and vegetables, sodium bicarbonate and acetic acid, it gets removed, and you see a lot of Google searches and also Facebook comments. And that is the reason we just want to check scientifically. And also nowadays, for the last 2 years in India, there are a number of commercial products which are available in the big markets, like BioWash. That's one very recently released. They say that you just mix 5 ml of BioWash in 2 liters of water, and it removes all the pesticides. We just want to check whether the commercial formulations really works with this very nonsense, because nonsense pesticides. These are all the pesticides except lambda-cyhalothrin, all are red labeled and yellow labeled. As far as the WHO classification, 3 are extremely toxic compounds. And Formula 1, actually we have our own formula. In our lab, we are trying to check some sort of like Dettol. You have a Dettol liquid soap. You just pour 2 or 3 drops of liquid in a liter of water. We just want to make some kind of formulation so that customers use it very effectively. We just want to try. Of course, we failed. You can see the result. Last Formula 1, it could not remove the pesticide. We are trying to modify the formula. But however, if you just go through these results very carefully and last, malathion is the one which can be removed very easily from various, especially from the brinjal. And out of all these treatments, even now we find that 2% salt solution is very effective. And also some sort of course, cooking is always effective, but here the cooking practice, what we have done is just simply keep in the pressure cooker for 5 minutes. That could not remove. In fact, probably it requires another 5 minutes to go for removal of all these pesticides. So, yes, sir, I noted down. So, you can just see these graphs like chlorpyrifos is effectively removed by cooking method, then also 2% salt solution and lemon water wash. And similarly, quinolphos can be removed very easily with 2% salt solution and biowash, of course, biowash solution, and followed by the lemon water. And similarly, malathion can be removed very easily with cooking and 2% salt solution. And data is almost similar in almost all the cases of pesticides and brinjal. So this is a final table wherein you can see 2% salt solution is really effective in removing. It's a simple why we are recommending 2% salt. It can be followed very easily at the home, and it is the cheapest technology. And already the practice is being followed at the most of the household levels of India. So 2% salt solution is still found to be very effective in removal of these pesticide residues from brinjal. Of course, cooking. If you can keep another 5 minutes, probably you can remove all these pesticides. Why we recommend 2%? 2% salt solution is very useful as far as the fresh fruits. And also now food habits have changed. People are trying to take more fresh vegetables and also kira and all sorts of like salads. So in that case, 2% salt solution is really effective in removing all these pesticide residues. And of course, cooking is a normal practice in India. So wherein you can remove most of the pesticide residues and except few. So by this study, you can come to a conclusion that as a simple technology, which we have already propagated, as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, this 2% salt solution treatment is very, very popular among all the household level people. And now again, so as far as the brinjal is concerned, this is a very continuous study for us. Now we want to analyze. You can ask me a question that why you have selected only these 5 or 7 or 8. These are the most toughest pesticides, whereas all other new molecules, they can be dissipated within 5 days. So that is the reason the waiting periods for all the new molecules like neonicotinoids, a lot of other new pesticides, their dissipation pattern is very faster, and they can get dissipated within 4 or 5 days. Absolutely there is no issue of these pesticide residues. That's the reason their MRL values are low. So whereas in these cases they are the toughest pesticides, they are all red and yellow labeled. So consumer perception is that we are taking a lot of pesticides. In fact, it is not like that. It is as well can be compared with any other nation anywhere in the world. It is the same situation. And what we found is this is the best method for removal of pesticide residues, and anybody can use with a simple, almost it costs hardly 2 rupees for treating your vegetables every day. Thank you very much.